All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Start off by saying Shalom. All praises to the Most High. Tonight's lesson, we're going to go into some precepts on plagues. All right, all the different plagues that are going on in the world. So we'll start off. I'll ask any questions. Anybody have any news they would like to share for the first few minutes? We'll open it up at this time if anybody would like to share any news or anything like that. No? Anybody in here?
I'll try to pull something up.
Yeah? Anybody online? Have any news or any information they would like to share with the group? No? Okay, well that's no big deal. You say you're trying to... You had something?
First thing they show is, something heart related. This tornadoes, flooding hit Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska.
Tornadoes and they're flooding the place?
Yeah, there's tornadoes, flooding hit Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska.
Okay. It's around that time. Tornado season is it's on its way. Of course, HAARP increases the chances of those tornadoes, and they increase the damage. The damage control is what I call it. Okay, well, if nobody don't really have much, let's get into the lesson. Tonight's lesson will be called Plagues / GMOs. All right, Plagues / GMOs. Give the definition that I have right here for plagues.
We have plague, and it is destruction, any sudden, severe, and dangerous disease. Several Hebrew words are translated pestilence or plague, but not one of these words can be considered as designating by its signification the disease now called the plague.
So plague means destruction, any sudden, severe, any dangerous disease. Several Hebrew words are translated pestilence or plague. So if you hear either one or the other, they're meaning the same thing, which is destruction, severe or dangerous disease. Okay? Let's go to, let's start off tonight in Psalms 91:1. So we're going to get into the different plagues that are happening throughout this world today and how they are affecting you and I. All right. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Psalms, chapter 9, verse 1.
91.
91, verse 1. And it reads, He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Most High, He is my refuge and my fortress. My power, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence.
All right, so the word refuge means shelter. Okay? So in verse 2 it says, I will say of the Most High, He is my refuge. Refuge means shelter. He's my shelter. My God, in Him will I trust. Alright, so it says, I will trust in the Most High. He's my shelter. Alright. And verse 1 says, He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Alright. A lot of people, there's so many places in the Bible where it calls Him the Most High. And when you use the word Most High to certain people, they be like, who? The who? Yeah, the Most High. The Bible says it's called the Most High now. Okay, verse 4.
Book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 4.
Read 3 again.
Book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 3, it says, Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence.
So it says, surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler. Alright? And from the noisome pestilence. Alright? Fowler is basically the entangledness of this world. Things that are going on. So how you get tied into this world. He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler. Deliver you from the things that are going on in this world. And from the noisome pestilence. Verse 4.
Verse 4.
Let them know where you at.
Book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 4 says, He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. So
we're in Psalms 91 and 3 for the two people that just got on. And tonight's lesson is called Plagues and GMOs. 91 and 5 Psalms.
Book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 5, it says, Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day.
So it says, don't be afraid of these, the fowler or the pestilence. The word pestilence means plague. Don't be afraid of this stuff. Verse 6.
Verse 6. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday.
So verse 5 says, don't be afraid for the terror by night. Alright? Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noon. So the word plague means destruction, any sudden, severe, and dangerous disease. Break down the word pestilence in the Hebrew.
We have pestilence. It is H1698. Pestilence is H1698. And we have Dabar. Dabar. D-A-B-A-R. Dabar. D-A-B-A-R. And we have, in the sense of destroying, a pestilence, murrain, pestilence, plague.
So the bar means destroying, which is pestilence, destroying, murrain, or plague. Alright. Break down murrain.
We have murrain, and it is an infectious and fatal disease among cattle.
So the word murrain, M-U-R-R-A-I-N, is an infectious and fatal disease among cattle. Let me read that again. Murrain, an infectious and fatal disease among cattle. All right, pestilence, murrain. So murrain is some type of disease that comes from cattle. Break down, give them the Webster definition for vaccine.
We're coming from the Webster. We're breaking down vaccine, and it is pertaining to cows.
Read it again.
Pertaining to cows, originating with or derived from cows, as the vaccine, disease, or cowpox.
So the word vaccine pertaining to cows, originating with or derived from cows as the vaccine disease or cowpox. So the word vaccine tells you it comes from cows. Vaccinate.
We have vaccinate, and it is to inoculate with the cowpox or a virus originally taken from cow.
Read it again so people can understand what this is saying.
It says to inoculate with cowpox, with the cowpox, or a virus originally taken from cows, called vaccine matter.
So the vaccine that they're using to vaccinate people is a virus originally taken from cows. That don't sound right? It's kind of crazy, but when you look at the word vaccine or vaccinate, it tells you it's a disease that comes from cows. So the vaccines that they're putting inside of people is originally a disease that's coming from cows. Okay, let's break down. So we're doing a lesson tonight on plagues and GMOs. And we're going to break down the players that participate in these things that are going on. Break down the word Monsanto's. Monsanto's is one of the big players that plays a big part in all these things that are going on today. Give them the information on Monsanto's.
We have Monsanto, and it says founded in 1901 by John Francis Queeny.
So Monsanto's has been around since 1901. It's not something that just came out of nowhere in the last 10 years or so. Monsanto's has been around for a long time. But the Obama administration has really pushed the play button on Monsanto's and gave them the green light to get involved in everything. Go ahead.
Says Monsanto Company is a publicly traded American multinational chemical and agriculture biotechnology corporation.
So it tells you that Monsanto's is an agricultural biotechnology corporation, and they deal with chemicals. Multinational chemical and agricultural biotechnology corporation. So they deal with technology in the biofield, Monsanto's, and also with chemicals. Read the rest.
Says Monsanto was among the first to genetically modify a plant cell, along with 3 academic teams, which was announced in 1983, and was among the first to conduct field trials of genetically modified crops, which it did in 1987.
So in 1987, Monsanto's conducted a field trial, so like chemtrails that we see coming from the sky, field trials of genetically modified crops. So genetically modified crops was introduced in 1987, but too many people didn't know about them. And then the Obama administration came in and said, all right, come on, let's come on in and bring in what you guys discovered in 1987. In 1983, they genetically modified a plant cell. What is genetically modified crops? Give them that.
We have genetically modified crops, GMCs, GM crops, or biotech crops. It says are plants used in agriculture, the DNA of which has been modified using genetic engineering techniques.
Read it again.
It says plants used in agriculture, the DNA of which has been modified using genetic engineering techniques.
So genetically modified crops, GMCs, GM crops, or biotech crops, or plants used in agriculture, the DNA of which has been modified using genetic engineering techniques. Okay? Read the rest.
Says in most cases the aim is to introduce a new trait to the plant which does not occur naturally in this species.
So that's what genetically modified crops are. Genetically modified crops is something that is not natural. Okay? So anytime you hear GMOs or something to that nature, it's letting you know it's something that is not real. Okay? So when we use the word GMO tonight, it's letting you know that it has nothing to do with anything natural or real. Alright? It's modified. It's fake. Give some examples.
Says in these species, examples in food crops include resistance to certain pests, disease or environmental conditions, reduction of spoilage, or resistance to chemical treatments, resistance to a herbicide, or improving the nutrient profile of the crop.
So, examples in GMO foods include resistance to certain pests. Don't we need bees? Don't we need bees to hover around a bunch of our crops to keep the crop going in the right direction, to keep the crop nutrients working in the right direction? Don't we need the bees to do that? I was watching something the other day there where they said in Florida, 90% of the bees are gone. They've died. They've killed them off. What's killed these bees off? GMOs. So the GMOs has product that's been sprayed on them that's killing off the bees. All right? And it says that this food that is genetically modified cannot spoil. All right? That's all bad. Food is supposed to spoil. Natural food is supposed to spoil. Okay? You're not supposed to have something that doesn't spoil, because if that's the case, I can reserve some corn for up to however long I want to, and then still sell it to the people. It's like we're eating rubber and plastic, basically. More examples?
It says examples in non-food crops include production of pharmaceutical agents, biofuels, and other industrially useful goods, as well as bioremediation. Farmers have widely adopted GM technology between 1996 and 2011.
So over the last 20 years, all farmers have turned to genetically modified crops. Why? Because you get more dollar for your buck. If I have some corn that will never spoil, I can sell it at a pace and get money for it like no other. But if I have corn that's going to spoil, I have to sell it really fast and get rid of it. And if I don't, then I lose out on a big portion of my crop. But if I have crop that I can store, make more crop, store, don't have no rush and get rid of it, my business is very lucrative. So this is why Obama has turned to Monsanto's to do such a thing, so they can get more bang for the buck. Okay? And then at the same time, they're spraying certain things on this food that's killing off the pests that we need to give the food nutrients. And then just imagine what's on the food when you eat it. Okay? Go to Google and put in Monsanto GMO animal testing. Go to Google and put in Monsanto, MONSANTO, GMO animal testing. And it should be the very first thing. Monsanto GMO animal testing, and it should be the very first thing. Alright? And it should say Monsanto's GMO feed creates horrific physical alignments in animals. Go ahead.
We have new research is showing some troubling information about animals on the receiving end of the industrial agriculture's big GMO experiment.
So it says they are receiving some troubling information about animals receiving this GMO food or this GMO experiment. And remember, we already read that the word pestilence, when we read the word pestilence, go back to Psalms 91 and 6. Read Psalms 91 and 6.
Book of Psalms chapter 91 verse 6, and it reads, Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday.
The word pestilent means destroying, murrain, or plague. And when you break down the word murrain, murrain is an infectious and fatal disease among cattle. Okay? And we broke down the word vaccine. The word vaccine or vaccinate means pertaining to cows originating with or derived from cows as the vaccine disease. A virus originally taken from cows. So vaccines, that's what it means. Alright, now that we're breaking down the GMO experiment, what's right there? Cattle, right? Don't you see cattle right there on the page? Let's talk about what they're doing to these cattle. Go ahead.
It says, a culture that views pigs as inanimate piles of protoplasmic structure to be manipulated however cleverly the human mind can conceive, will view its citizens the same way, and other cultures. It says, we associate food with at most pleasure, at the very least survival. It's not too different for animals. Lambs turn out on new grass, move quickly over certain grasses to get to others, to nosh on clover and mustard grass, avoiding horse, nettle, and fescue along the way. It says, Dan Barber in a chef speaks out. Wild pigs capable of seeking out the nutrients they need, enjoying eating nuts, roots, fruits, mushrooms, bugs, rabbits, and occasionally dead animals.
That's why you're not supposed to mess with pigs. Pigs eat dead animals. That's nasty. Read the rest.
It says, but what happens when animals are confined in cramped, filthy environments and force-fed monoculture diets of genetically modified corn and soy?
So it says, let's see what happens when these cows, the cattle, is fed genetically modified food. Go ahead.
Says, a lot can happen. Calves are born too weak to walk, with enlarged joints and limbs, deformities. Piglets experience rapidly deteriorating health, a failure to thrive, so severe that they start breaking down their own tissues and organs, self-cannibalizing to survive.
Wow. So it says the GMOs is breaking the calves down so bad to where when they're born, they're too weak to walk, can't even walk. And piglets experience rapidly deteriorating health, a failure to thrive, so severe that they start breaking down their own tissues and organs, self-cannibalism. That's bad. Go ahead.
Says many animals suffer from weak, brittle bones that easily fracture. Dairy cows develop mastitis, a painful udder infection. Beef cattle develop liver abscesses, and an excruciating condition referred to as twisted gut.
Now you have to understand, the cattle that we're breaking down here, that's having all these issues, is the same cattle that they're serving in the store. Do you really think that they're going to do an experiment on a cow, and then if a cow starts having all these complications, that they're just going to kill it and do away with it? No. They're going to experiment on this cow from head to toe, and if it dies from one of these experiments from retardation, right? Because that's basically what they're doing to the dang thing. The cows and the pigs are becoming retarded, can't even walk, organs are failing. And if the cow dies of retardation, guess what they're going to do? Send it to the slaughterhouse, chop it up, and feed it to you in the stores. So if that cow died from retardation because of the GMOs they put in it, guess what's going to happen to you when you eat it? Huh? I don't know what people think though. People think, oh, well, that was an experiment. They got rid of that cow. No, they didn't. That cow is in fries right now. Go ahead.
We have, it all adds up to a lot of misery for animals unfortunate enough to be on the receiving end of the industrial agriculture's big GMO experiment. The spotlight on animal rights and CAFOs, concentrated animal feeding operations, is typically focused on cramped spaces and blatantly inhumane treatment. But some scientists, farmers, and veterinarians are talking about another form of animal abuse, stuffing animals with feed grown from genetically engineered crops drenched in glyphosate, the key ingredient in Monsanto's Roundup. What they've uncovered should give us all pause, because the symptoms veterinarians and researchers have observed in animals are not unlike many of the chronic and increasingly prevalent health problems plaguing humans today. Digestive disorders, damaged organs, infertility, weak immune systems, chronic depression.
So it says, because the symptoms that the researchers have observed in animals are not unlike many of the chronic and increasingly prevalent health problems plaguing humans today. And the names off the plagues that are plaguing humans: digestive disorders, damaged organs, infertility, weak immune systems, chronic depressions. Same symptoms that humans are having. And a lot of these humans are wondering why they're having these problems. Because of the meat you're eating, probably. Next verse.
We have, says, we've got a real mess, says Dr. Art Dunham, an Iowa veterinarian who has treated farm animals for several decades.
So this doctor has treated animals for several decades, and 2 years ago he says, we have a mess here dealing with Monsanto's. Go ahead.
Says Dunham is a staunch believer that GMO crops are wreaking havoc with the health of animals and humans.
Say it again.
Says Dunham is a staunch believer that GMO crops are wreaking havoc with the health of animals and humans.
So this doctor says that he truly believes that the GMO crops are wreaking havoc with the health of animals and humans. So not only the animals, but it's wreaking havoc among the humans. Go ahead.
It says, his daughter, Leah Dunham, who tagged along with her father on many a farm visit over the years, recently wrote America's Two-Headed Pig, drawing on her father's clinical notes and the work of scientists like Dr. Don Hubbard, Professor Emeritus in Plant Pathology at Purdue University. Leah Dunham outlines some of the ways in which humans are adding to the suffering of farm animals by feeding them a glyphosate-tainted GMO diet.
So the daughter wrote some information saying how the humans are suffering from these farm animals that are being fed GMO diets. So when you get down to the bottom of it, the GMOs that they are experimenting on these animals is the same food that they are feeding individuals in the stores. That's not safe at all, you guys. Not one bit. And then the same thing, they're turning around and putting GMOs in all your food anyway. Okay? But this is where a lot of the different diseases and different things are coming from, is because of these different experiments. It's coming from the cattle. And we already broke down the word murrain. All right? And then we already broke down the word vaccine. Vaccines is a virus that comes from cows. All right, read the next paragraph.
It says, Leah Dunham would like to see the CAFO model drastically overhauled or abandoned. Her father believes it's more realistic to tackle the issue of GMO feed without attacking CAFOs. But father and daughter agree that the problem associated with today's industrial agriculture model extend beyond the health and well-being of animals, Leah Dunham wrote.
Okay. So now you know. So you say, okay, wow, that's amazing what these people are doing. But when you look at the overall plan for the New World Order, they want to get the population down to a certain amount of people. So how do they start by doing that? By start tackling off, killing and diseasing people through the food. Okay? And Obama's a big part of it. That's why you've never heard of Monsanto's until now. The last few years or so, last 5-6 years, you start really hearing Monsanto's name pick up big time, dealing with GMOs, because Obama is allowing this. Obama is passing bills to give them the upper hand to kill us off within the food. And what better way to go into the farmers, where majority of all of our crops and different things are coming from, and allow Monsanto's to take over the farmlands. All right. Read this next paragraph where it says, my father has poured.
It says, my father has pored over thousands of research papers in attempts to remedy the underlying causes of the illness described in this book. His work has embodied a commitment to healthy lands, creatures, and farms, as well as the hard work necessary to sustain them. After years of listening to him talk about his attempts to solve reoccurring health problems, I realized that most people don't have a clue as to how modern disease complexities affect farm animals. We both hope that this book will help all medical professionals, farmers, and consumers better address the true roots of various medical conditions, including nutrient deficiencies, clostridial infections, diabetes, and Parkinson's disease.
So a lot of different diseases are booming from these GMOs through these farm animals. Okay? You guys, I gave y'all the information. It's a lot more to read on that article alone, but we read enough so you can get the picture on what we're talking about. All right, tonight. Let's see. Let's go back to Psalms 91 and 7. So on your own time, read the rest of that article. All right, it's got a lot of more good stuff in there that's talking about what else they're doing to these animals. But I just wanted you guys to get the overall scheme on what these GMOs are doing and what Monsanto's purpose is. Okay, go ahead.
We're in the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 7, and it reads, 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee.
So it says that 1,000 shall fall at thy side. It's talking about these diseases due to Monsanto's, due to the GMOs. Many people are going to die from these plagues. All right, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. So it's talking about the true people, the righteous individuals. If you have the Most High as your refuge, if you have the Most High as your protection, then it's not going to come unto you. If you have the Most High as your head, you're following Him on a daily basis. Remember, Psalms 91 through 6 says, hey, I have the Most High as my refuge. Okay? And it says in verse 3, surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler. So when the Most High delivers His people, you're not going to be one of these people. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand. So many people are going to fall because of these plagues, these diseases, through these vaccines. Okay? Through the things that Monsanto's is bringing to the table. All right? So that's why you have to get yourself in order, follow the Most High's laws, do His commandments, and then that way you won't be one of these people that fall on this. Okay? And anyway, if you're following the laws of the Most High, you're not eating their cows anyway. I'm just being real with you. Because the laws of the Most High says their cows that are in the stores, their ground beef still has blood in it. And according to the law, He says you're not to eat anything with blood in it. So shame on you for eating their meat, which has blood in it, and it has mad cow disease in it, it has all this stuff in it, these GMOs. So now, if you die from that meat, shame on you. You shouldn't have been eating it. So right here in verse 7, He says, but it shall not come nigh thee. It will not come near thee if you're following the laws of the Most High. Because like I said, if you're following the laws of the Most High, you're not eating that cow meat. Now you're not getting all these different plagues and diseases that they have in the store. All right. I have another article that I want you guys to go to. Give them that title. Maybe if they put that in and pull it up, I don't remember where I got it from, but just give them the title.
Title is Biofarms to integrate vaccines.
Read it again. Go slow so people can put it in.
It says Biofarms to integrate vaccines, pharmaceuticals. If anybody doesn't know how to spell it, CEUTICALS, pharmaceuticals, into GMO, biopharmaceuticals, that one is BIOPHARMACEUTICAL, crops.
So the title, Bioform, to integrate vaccines, pharmaceuticals into GMO, biopharmaceutical crops. Did y'all get that? All right. All right, go ahead. Read it.
It says, the truth really is much stranger than fiction, especially when it comes to the open and admitted future plans of major biotechnology companies. One such case involves a biotech company known as Protogene. The officials from which actually faced jail time back in 2002 for contaminating the traditional food supply with biopharmaceutical crops that were growing pharmaceuticals and vaccine components associated with AIDS, diabetes, and diarrhea.
So it just said that the biopharmaceutical crops that are growing, pharmaceuticals and vaccines components associated with AIDS, diabetes, and diarrhea. So basically they're saying right here that the food is now being injected with vaccines. So they figure everybody is starting to catch on to vaccines being bad for you. Everybody's starting to catch on to say, hey, I'm not going to get my kids vaccinated. I'm not going to do that. So now, through the biopharmaceuticals, they say, well, we're going to inject vaccines into the food. And not only are we going to inject vaccines into the food, we're going to inject AIDS, diabetes, and diarrhea into the food. So now different people coming up with AIDS, so many people coming up with diabetes. Especially in the black community. In the black community, diabetes hit hard. And you be like, dang, is it hereditary? No. It's the food that they have in your stores. Read the rest.
Says
contaminated.
Says contaminating 500,000 bushels of soy with their biopharmaceutical corn that contain pharmaceutical and vaccine components associated with deadly diseases.
So it tells you right here, in a biopharmaceutical corn contains pharmaceutical and vaccine components associated with deadly diseases. Go ahead.
The company was slapped with a minor $500,000 fine by the USDA, the same government organization that gives Monsanto's crop special speed approval and ignores the company's blatant disregard for its regulations.
So the same company gave this people a $500,000 fine, the USDA, which is the same company that gives Monsanto's crops. Who's in charge of this stuff? If anybody found out that these people was doing this to our food, why did they not all get jail time and all get put away and the company gets taken out? Instead, the company gets slapped with a fine that they can pay and then turn right back around and continue to do what they do. Go ahead.
Says, as it turns out, the pharmaceutical crops were actually mixed with traditional crops, and unknowing farmers had already been planted for human consumption. The USDA claims, however, that the crops were confiscated.
So these people say the crops were confiscated, dude. We all know that the crops were not confiscated. We all know that they're going to use every piece of crop and every cow and every animal that they do this experiment on, they're going to make some money off of. Nothing's going to be confiscated. If it was confiscated, it was still sold. Next paragraph.
Says, after receiving the fine and some press coverage on the subject, Protogene decided not to apologize but to expand their mission.
Say it again.
Says Protogene.
No, read the whole thing, because I just told y'all that nothing happened to him. Read it again.
It says, after receiving the fine and some press coverage on the subject.
So after they got fined, they actually became popular. They got press coverage. And after their fine and press coverage, what happened?
Says Protogene decided not to apologize, but to expand their mission.
So after they were fined, they didn't go nowhere. They expanded their mission. Go ahead.
Says the company, in combination with estimates by Dow AgroSciences, stated that they sought to reach 200 billion in biopharmaceutical crops within 10 years as of 2004. Furthermore, they estimated that 10% of the corn in the United States will be biopharmaceutical in nature. In other words, it could contain hidden nanoscale vaccinations, antibiotics, antidepressants, or any form of pharmaceutical drug.
So it says in other words, the corn, it could contain hidden nanoscale vaccinations, antibiotics, and antidepressants, any form of pharmaceutical drugs. All right, so that's any vaccines that they're trying to give to you and I when they're asking you to come get vaccinations. Go ahead.
It says, in other words, one California-based company has even created a spermicidal corn to be used as a mass contraceptive.
So spermicidal.
Spermicidal.
So they have created a spermicidal corn to be used as a massive contraceptive. So they're trying to kill us off. And like I said, when New World Order hits, they want to get a certain number. They want to get down to a certain number of people for population. So now, not only through corn are they're trying to kill you off with vaccines, but they have a new corn with spermicidal in there to control the contraceptive. Go ahead.
It says, in an alternate piece covering the issue entitled Spermicidal Breakfast Cereal, author Carmelo Reese Marrero asks, what would happen if contraceptive corn or antibiotic wheat accidentally made it to the supermarket? Nobody knows, but that isn't stopping agribusiness from pursuing these crops.
So it says people are pursuing these crops. No matter what's in these crops, no matter what's in the corn, people are pursuing. These different businesses are pursuing these crops. So before you know it, if not already, remember, this piece we're reading was 2 years ago. This piece we're reading was 2 years ago. So he was saying in 2012, what will happen if businesses start pursuing these crops? And I'm pretty sure they did. All right. So now that we're 2.5 years later, you guys got to be very careful. Read vaccines, drugs. Go ahead.
So it's vaccines, drugs, sterilizations to be fused in nation's dinner. Says the existence of such technology brings the fight against GMOs to an entirely new level. Outside of the known effects such as recent links to tumors, DNA damage, and other complications, GMO crops on your dinner table could soon contain pharmaceutical drugs like statins in an effort of mass medicating the public.
So so through your food and through the vaccines now being put in the food, this is called a mass medicating. All right, they're going to medicate you whether you like it or not. Through vaccinations, they've been trying to get people to rush down to the droves to get vaccinated. They finding different ways to get you and your family down there to get vaccinated. And now, since you're saying no, they now have medicine to where they give you one shot and they tell you that you're healed. Whatever happened to the 10-day medicine, 10 to 14-day medicine? Now let me give you a shot and you'll be good by morning time. What's in that shot? For real though, what's in that shot that's going to make me cure up within 1 day? It's called a mass medicating. Read the rest.
It says such an effort would likely be used in conjunction with others to fight against those who choose to opt out of the vaccination.
Read it again.
Says, such an effort would likely be used in conjunction with others to fight against those who choose to opt out of vaccinations, delivering the vaccine through the food supply.
Clear as day. So people who opt out on getting vaccinations, they say, well, we're going to find a different way to vaccine you. And we're going to do it through your food. This is getting rougher and rougher and rougher. I don't care what you say or what you think. Listen, they are going to find a way to promote their will on you. And they've come out in so many ways over the last 5 to 10 years trying to trick us into getting certain vaccinations and different things. And now that so many people have been woken up to the truth that the vaccinations is what's causing autism, which is causing name some of the things that's come over the last 15 to 20 years that the kids have. ADHD. ADHD is one of the biggest ones. Autism. So many other ones. So now that they say people are going to opt out on them, well, we'll just deliver it through your food supply. Okay, read the rest.
It says,
It may sound
absurd, and it is, but it is not a new notion. Researchers previously designed a method in which mosquitoes could be flying vaccine carriers.
Read it again.
It says it may sound absurd, and it is, but it's not a new notion. Researchers previously designed a method in which mosquitoes could be flying vaccine carriers to inject large numbers of individuals with vaccinations without their knowledge of consent.
So years ago, they put what was called the West Nile virus in these mosquitoes. And the West Nile virus was going from state to state, killing off people left and right. People was dropping dead almost once they got bit by these mosquitoes. After a couple of days, they was dropping dead. I remember the number had got up to like 900 people within that year, a year and a half from West Nile virus. Now they said that they are going to inject the mosquitoes with vaccines, so when the mosquito bites you, you're going to get vaccinated. Listen, man, Obama and these dudes are pretty tricky. Through Obama, Monsanto's, Bill Gates, all these, the Bilderbergers, all these guys, man, they're going to find a way to shorten that population. And I'm just reading off some. I'm just giving you some information on some of the things that they have out there. But I figured tonight I'll give you some of the main things that you would never even thought. You would never even thought that vaccinations in your food. Flying mosquitoes with vaccinations. Man, that's huge. Finished it out.
Says, as one spokesman for a major ecology organization explained, one single mistake from a biotechnology company and we'll be having someone else prescription medicine for breakfast in our cereal. Explained Larry Bohan from Friends of the Earth, an international ecology organization. The information ties in with the recent news revealing that Monsanto now owns a monumental gene silencing technology for pharmaceutical use in humans. The King Biotechnology Company even forged a recent alliance with Alnylam Pharmaceuticals Incorporated to get the initiative start. After all, Monsanto would not lose an opportunity to conquer a large portion of the massive 200 billion biopharmaceutical crop market. Other corporations are looking to get a chunk too, with the molecular farming, website acting a hub for farmers willing to lease their land for biopharmaceutical experiments across the globe, touting a net worth of 80 billion in the coming years. Investors are continually looking to get their hands on biopharmaceutical growing operations to churn out drug containing GMO crops for mass consumption and mass profits. So far, they've garnered contrast as far as Zimbabwe to continue their operations. Just like regular GMOs, DDT, and cigarettes, experts are concerned that the real effects of biopharmaceutical growth may not be recognized until decades later.
So what they're doing is they're injecting you through your food, through mosquitoes, and a lot of this stuff won't be recognized until decades later. Okay? And a lot of people won't understand their disorders years and years later when it's already too late. By the time they realize something's wrong with them, it's going to be too late. Okay? Let's go to Leviticus 26 and 21. So you guys, with the information we just read, you have to stop and say, wow, what next? Well, Ahia. You absolutely have to start walking in the ways of Ahia. You absolutely have to start doing things according to the Most High, His laws, His commandments, if you don't want to be a part of this. And it's real huge. It's real huge in His eyes that if you don't walk in His eyes and hearken to Him, these plagues will hit you. Point blank. That's how it works. Read.
We're in the book of Leviticus, chapter 26, verse 21. And the reason, if ye walk contrary unto me, and will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins.
So it says, if ye walk contrary unto me, and will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. Give them the definition of contrary.
We have contrary, and it is...
Yeah, just give them the definition from the website.
Oh, sorry. It is opposite, adverse, moving against or in an opposite direction as contrary winds.
So contrary means going in the opposite direction. So verse 21 in Leviticus 26 says, and if ye walk contrary unto me, and if you walk in the opposite direction unto me, I will not, and you will not hearken unto me, so you will not listen to my laws, you will not listen to my commandments, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. So when you sin, then you'll be wondering why you got diabetes. If you sin, then you'll be wondering why you have Parkinson's disease. Then if you sin, then you're going to be wondering why your organs are failing. Because you're sinning against the Most High. So He's allowing these plagues to come upon you. But if you're walking in the ways of the Most High and you're walking in His direction, then He'll keep you protected through these GMOs and all these different things. Because a lot of people say, well, what can we do? You got so much going on around us. Everything's infested. Everything's happening. How do we stay protected? Walk in the ways of Ahia, and He will protect you. Deuteronomy 28 and 58. So people are not listening to Ahia though. And that's why we have what we have. When you look at the world today, 90% of the world is not following Ahia. So this is why Ahia has allowed Monsanto's to get involved with all of our food. This is why Ahia has allowed them to think of the brainiac mindset to put vaccines in the mosquitoes. Now, if 90% of the world was walking in the ways of Ahia, then Ahia wouldn't allow these people to take over and do this. Does that make sense? But since 10% is only following Ahia. Ahia said, y'all not following my way, so I'm gonna let the whole world be plagued out. And then I will say the few, I will put my refuge over the few that are following my ways. Deuteronomy 28:58. Go ahead.
In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 58, and it reads, If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Most High thy power, Ahia Ashal Ahia, then the Most High will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, and even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness, and of long continuance.
So it says, if thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, and if you do not fear my glorious and fearful name, all the plagues, all right, then the Most High will send all these plagues, and plagues of thy seed, and great plagues. And not only will they be plagues, but they will be long continuous plagues. Long continuous plagues means Parkinson's disease. Things that happen to you that you can't get away from. They're long, permanent. So if you don't do and observe the ways and the laws of this book, he's going to send these plagues and these sicknesses upon you. Verse 60.
Verse 60, it says, Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Most High bring upon thee, until thou be destroyed.
Well, the Most High says he's going to destroy the people. Y'all don't want to walk in his ways, y'all don't want to follow his law, then he's going to hit you with every sickness and every plague. And not only is he going to hit you with every sickness, every plague, but he's going to hit you with every sickness, every plague that's not even written in the book of this law. So that's why when you read the book of law, he has certain sicknesses and things that he's going to hit us with, but he says, I'm going to hit you with the rest of them too, which is what we're talking about tonight. Man-made diseases, man-made sicknesses through these vaccinations. Okay? And remember, earlier we read an article where it says they now have corn, spermicidal corn, to be used as a massive contraceptive. Let's see who else a bigwig that's involved in this massive contraceptive, spermicidal. Read this.
It says, scientists are beginning tests to see if ultrasound can be used as a reversible contraceptive for men.
Read it again.
It says, scientists are beginning tests to see if ultrasound can be used as a reversible contraceptive for men.
So scientists are now testing, this was a couple of years ago, scientists are now testing to see if ultrasound can be used as a reversible contraceptive for men. They're trying to reverse your sperm to where it don't work no more. Go ahead.
Says, based on early work, University of North Carolina experts believe a blast of ultrasound to the testes can safely stop sperm production for 6 months.
So they have come up with this contraceptive saying a blast of ultrasound to a man's testicles can safely stop sperm production up to 6 months. Go ahead.
Says, with a grant of $100,000 from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Who? Bill Gates?
Bill and Melinda.
So Bill and his wife has already put in $100,000 just for the foundation. That was a couple years ago. So let's imagine how much they put in it now. Once they realize it worked, guess how much Bill put into it now? Millions. So Mr. Bill Gates, the guy that's all on TV that everybody wants to be like. Everybody wants to be like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. Bill Gates is Satan himself. He has a big part in this reproduction of the population of the people. Bill Gates was the main person that put in all the money in the research for the Ebola vaccination. Bill Gates, his parents are the founders of what? Planned Parenthood. People don't know this. Bill Gates' mom and dad are the founders of Planned Parenthood. So back in the day, Bill Gates' family started Planned Parenthood to start killing off our people. And now Bill Gates with his money is doing the same thing. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Okay? And guess what Bill Gates said in the interview? Bill Gates said in the interview, I have no use for money. This is God's work. That's what Bill Gates said. I have no use for money. This is God's work. So what I'm doing, this is God's work. God didn't tell Bill Gates to fund these scientists this large amount of money to do this research. But this is what Bill Gates said. This is God's work. Let's go to Revelation 16 and 14. So what God is Bill Gates talking about? Sure ain't talking about Ahia. Because Ahia ain't never told nobody to go out and kill off his people. If anything, Ahia told us to be fruitful and reproduce. Multiply. Exceedingly. Right?
A couple times.
Yeah. He said multiply big time. But now they have us scared. Now they have the men through child support. They have us scared to multiply. Now men are scared to have more than 1 or 2 kids. Because they're scared of the system that the government's put out there. They're going to put you on child support. They're going to do this, they're going to do that. So now they found every way possible to stop you from reproducing. Through all these experiments, through the GMOs, through Bill Gates Foundation, through Planned Parenthood, and now just through fearfulness of child support. Through fearfulness of child support, God's like, man, I ain't gonna have no more kids, man. I ain't trying to deal with the government. So now what Ahia told us to do, Ahia says, reproduce, be fruitful and multiply. Now through the government, we are following their ways. We are following exactly what they want us to do. Revelation 16 and 14. So let's see what God Bill Gates is following. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Revelations. We're in chapter 16, verse 14, and it reads, For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of the great day of the Most High.
For they are spirits of devils working miracles. So many people be like, I want to be like Jay-Z. He got money. He must have did well to get to his position. I want to be like Bill Gates. Man, whatever Bill Gates did, I need to follow that. Whatever Donald Trump did, I got to follow the model of Donald Trump to get there. And don't understand that these people have gotten their money and success by working for the devil. They've signed their life off, and the devil still gives miracles. So a lot of people feel like Bill Gates is rich, so he must have did something right. No. Jay-Z ain't rich because he done something right. So get out of that mind frame. So many people think like that. But I got to be like them. I got to do like them to get to the next level. Nah, these people are the spirits of the devil, which is still working miracles. The devil spirits, they still get miracles. So these rich people that are rich is the spirits of the devil, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world and gather them to battle of the great day of Ahia. So these spirits of the devil, Bill Gates, Monsanto's, Obama, the Bilderbergers, all these people have been gathered together in the great battle against Ahia. And they're battling us today through our food, through everything we do. They're battling Ahia. Everything's against Ahia to kill us all. Okay? Read what I have right there for Bill Gates.
It says Bill Gates bought $23 million of Monsanto shares. Globally, he promotes GMOs, vaccine solutions.
Read it again so people can get it.
says Bill Gates bought $23 million of Monsanto shares.
Why is Bill Gates putting $23 million into Monsanto's? Man, he don't got nothing else to do with his money, huh? $23 million Bill Gates has put into Monsanto's. Go ahead.
Says globally he promotes GMOs, vaccine solutions. His solution is to cut the world's population to 15 to 20%.
So it tells you right here in this article, Bill Gates bought $23 million of Monsanto shares. Globally, he promotes GMOs, vaccines, and solutions. His solution is to cut the world's population 15 to 20%. So just through Bill Gates, the population, just through Bill Gates, the population will be cut 15 to 20%, just through his efforts. Go ahead.
Says the solution is the world has 6.8 billion and is heading towards 9.
So it says the world is heading towards 9 billion people.
He wants to make sure that doesn't happen by sterilizing people.
So this is why Bill Gates is putting in all his money to Monsanto's. This is why Bill Gates is putting all his money into the research of these scientists and different things like that. Okay? So between Bill Gates, Goldman Sachs, all right? Goldman Sachs is one of the premier investment banks in the world. That's who Goldman Sachs is. So when you hear the name Goldman Sachs is one of the places that has premier banks. Goldman Sachs is one of the premier investment banks in the world. Okay, so these people are providing the money to do all these certain things. Okay, along with Monsanto's, along with the Bilderberg Group. Who is the Bilderberg Group? Bilderberg Group is a group of people who meet annually, all right, and they do private conferences, approximately about 120 to 140 people, and these 140 people are invited guests, and these invited guests are from North America and Europe, and most of whom these people have influence on the world. A lot of these people have major influence on the world, like your Bill Gates, okay, your Warren Buffetts, your Donald Trumps. These people are part of the Bilderberg Group. All right? So along with Bilderberg Group and Goldman Sachs, these are the people who are killing us off. Okay? Goldman Sachs, the premier investment bank, a few years ago went and bought off all the natural crops. So when they brought in Monsanto's to put GMOs in all the crops, then this is what Goldman Sachs did. So all the remaining natural crops, natural rice, natural corn, natural potatoes, natural everything, all that was remaining, by the time Monsanto's come in and Monsanto say, all right, well, we're about to GMO everything. So Goldman Sachs said, well, before y'all GMO everything, let us buy off all the natural crops. And they bought off all the natural crops and have them hidden in their basement and have them hidden in their greenhouses. And now they sell to you and I all the GMO foods. That's what Goldman Sachs came in and did. Psalms 91 and 8. Go ahead.
In the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 8, and it reads, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Most High, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation.
So the Most High is my refuge. He is thy habitation. Verse 10.
Verse 10, it says, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. So
if you do what you're supposed to do according to Ahia, you won't have to worry about any of these plagues coming upon you. Why? Because the Most High is going to give your angel that's over you to make you walk in his ways. Okay? The angel that's over you, if you're walking and following the laws of Ahia, your angel is your hedge. So a lot of people say, well, how do I get a hedge? The hedge that you have over you is the angel that the Most High appointed over you. And we went over this last week in the lesson with the hell, the deception of hell. Every soul has an angel appointed over them. Now, whether you walk in the laws of Ahia, then that angel will protect you. If you don't walk in the laws of Ahia, that angel can't protect you. If the angel keeps trying to tell you what to do, hey, do this, and you keep stepping outside of bounds, angel can't do nothing for you. Okay? Revelations 15:1. So, you guys, when you put it in the grand scheme of things, okay, the plagues that are out there are bigger than what you think. And that's why I wanted to go over tonight's lesson, because people automatically hear the word plagues or diseases and they think it's something that they have to do. Get in contact with somebody or get blood on blood, or no. These people are plaguing you out with diseases right under your noses. All right? Not even under your own regardless. You don't have a clue that it's happening. That's what regardless means. Under your own regardless means you know what's happening. You're willing to do that. You're not willing to do what these people are doing, so they're doing it not under your own regardless. You have no clue that you're being diseased out through your food. You have no clue the word vaccinate means a virus from the cow. But they tell you though, when you go get a vaccination, if it's a flu vaccination, they tell you we're going to give you a virus. But then once you get over the virus, you're going to be good for the whole season. But in other words, they're giving you a virus from the cow. That's what the word vaccine means. Nobody knows that they're putting vaccine in the mosquitoes coming here in this near future if they already haven't had it happen. So now people are getting bit by mosquitoes and then wondering why they're sick a few days later. We got to be a little more careful, you guys. All right, we got to be a little more careful. And how do we be more careful? By following the higher. It's the only thing I tell you. Revelations 15:1.
We in the book of Revelation, chapter 15, verse 1. And the reason I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High.
So it says, and I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues. So Ahia has the last say. All these plagues and all these diseases that they're injecting us with through food and everything, Ahia is going to have the last say. He has the last 7 plagues. And what's his last 7 plagues? The wrath of Ahia. Verse 2.
Verse 2. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over his number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of the Most High, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, the Most High thy power, almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints.
So Moses is not important though, according to the religions, Christian churches. Moses' laws, Moses' ways are done away with. They're not important. But it says right here, they're singing the songs of Moses, the servant of Ahia. All right? Moses was not a prophet. Moses was the servant of Ahia. Okay? He was not a prophet. And so many people will try to argue with you and tell you that Moses was a prophet. No, Moses was not a prophet. Show me in the Bible where it says Moses was a prophet. You can't. Let's go to another spot where it says Moses was a servant. Hold on, let's see. Where Numbers 12 and 6. Let's confirm that Moses was not a prophet. Numbers 12 and 6. And right here is where Miriam and Aaron spoke bad against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman. And then the Most High came down and gave Miriam leprosy. Read Numbers 12 and 6.
We're in the book of Numbers, chapter 12, verse 6, and it reads, And he said, Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Most High, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so.
So he says, if there be a prophet among you, I, the Most High, will make myself known unto him in a vision. I will speak unto him in a dream. So prophets get their vision through the dream of Ahia. That's when he'll go speak to them. But he says, my servant Moses, he is not so. Why? Read the rest.
We're in verse 7. It says, My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of the Most High shall he behold. Wherefore, then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?
Listen, you should be afraid to speak against this dude. He ain't like everybody else. I don't speak to him in a dream. I don't come to him in a vision. I speak to Moses face to face, mouth to mouth. So Moses is not a prophet. All right, let's go back to Revelations. Read 15 and 3 again.
We're in the book of Revelation, chapter 15, verse 3, and it reads, And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of the Most High, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, the Most High thy power almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints.
The song of the Lamb and the song of Moses. So the song of the Lamb is who? Yeshua. So Yeshua and Moses works hand in hand. Yeshua did not come to get rid of Moses and say, I'm here now. So that's what I mean. So many people talking about, well, Yeshua came, you don't have to deal with the laws of Moses. No, Yeshua just came and put the period at the end of the laws. Continuation. Verse 4.
Verse 4. Who shall not fear thee, O Most High, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was open.
So it says, and the whole world and all the nations shall come worship him, for thy judgments are made manifest. The word manifest means clearly, visible. So all thy judgments will be made clearly and visible unto the Most High. Go ahead. Verse 6.
Book of Revelation, chapter 15, verse 6. It says, And the 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, and having their beasts girded with golden girdles.
Their breasts.
Having their breasts girded with golden girdles. It says, And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels 7 golden vials full of the wrath of the Most High, who liveth forever and ever. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of the Most High and from his power. And no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled.
So no man is able to enter into the temple of Ahia until the 7 plagues are fulfilled. Okay? But it says in verse 7, and one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 angels, 7 golden vials full of the wrath of Ahia. What are the golden vials? Anybody know? Okay, let's go to Revelations 8. Let's go to Revelations 8. Read 8 and 3. Or read 8 and 2.
We're in the book of Revelation.
So Revelations 5 and 7 says, and one of the four beasts gave unto the seven, Revelations 15 and 7 says, and one of the four beasts gave unto the seven angels 7 golden vials full of the wrath of Ahiah. All right, read Revelations 8 and 2.
We're in the book of Revelation, chapter 8, verse 2, and it reads, and I saw the 7 angels which stood before the Most High, and to them were given the 7 trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer. And there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with prayers of all saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints ascended up before the Most High out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire to the altar of the altar, and cast it into the earth. And there were voices, thunderings, and lightnings, and an earthquake. And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound.
Okay, now let's go back. Let's break down the word vials. Okay. All right, give them the word, give them the vials.
We have vials, and it is G5357. Vials is G5357, and we have fiele, and it is PHIALE, fiele, and it is a broad, shallow cup.
So vials is a cup. Okay. So the golden cups, all right, and those golden cups in Revelations 8, where we just read, is talking about the prayers of the saints. Okay, which the same 7 angels in Revelations 8 and 2 were bringing those cups, those golden censers, up to Ahiah, which is our prayers. All right. But Revelations 15 and 8 says, and the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of Ahiah and from his power, and no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. So at the end of it all, Ahiah is going to send out his plagues. At the end of it all, Ahiah is going to take care of these people. These people are plaguing us out in so many ways, but Ahiah says, hey, I'm going to have the last laugh. So with last week's lesson on the Sabbath, we went over information on martial law, mark of the beast, part 1. And then this week in the middle, and we're going to do part 2 on Friday. So in the middle of those 2 lessons, I figured I would give you information on the plagues. So within a week, you'll have all information tied together that's happening in this grand scheme of things on what they're trying to do to us to involve the New World Order. See, these plagues and all these things that they're doing happens with the New World Order. They're trying to limit the 9 billion people that are here in this world and get that number down to about 3 billion. All right, they're trying to get it down real small enough worldwide to where they can control the population. They can control everybody. Right now, 9 billion, that's way too many people to be trying to control. That's too much. It's too much violence. So with the New World Order, through all these diseases, they're trying to kill off the population so they can get that number down to a small enough amount so they can control again like they did back in the 60s, 70s, all right, the 40s. So when you put it all together, it makes sense, you guys, on their grand scheme of things. And how do you not be a part of it? Follow the laws of Ahiah. That's simple. How do I follow the laws of Ahiah? Read the Old Testament. Don't let nobody trick you and tell you that you're to get away from the Old Testament. Following the law of Ahia, all right, is sin. All right, when you sin, you have recognition of what the law is. That's why you have to follow. Okay? So with that in mind, we'll say all praises to the Most High, Ahia. We'll pray it out and then we'll open it up for any questions.